Hey, welcome back to Cape Critiquers, everybody. Today we are talking about the Mark of Zorro from 1940.
Yeah.
What version did you guys watch?
Colorized.
The colorized.
I did the colorized, and actually, you're correct. They did a very good job on that.
I tried to watch the colorized on Tubi, and then it kept freezing, so I had to rent it from Amazon. So I watched the black and white.
Both are good. So.
Yeah.
It's the type of thing where it's like you can tell after a while that it's colorized. Like I did after a while, but like it's almost like just how they would have a colorized movie back in the day, where it's just like it kind of just looks like they had a bad camera.
Yeah.
I like to give people credit when they do. The guy who wrote Zorro in 1919. So
Story by Johnston McCulley.
yeah, that's actually what the movie was based on.
Yeah.
Well, when I was looking, there was a version of the movie from the 20s.
1920, I think.
1920, yeah.
Yeah. The original was also the Mark of Zorro, and that was Douglas Fairbanks.
Right, who was another big silver screen star.
and he was the swashbuckler. Those were like the golden ages of
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Even like Tyrone Power isn't like even the biggest actor of the time in this movie. Basil
Basil Rathbone.
Rathbone.
Yeah.
The future Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, he was Sherlock Holmes. He was in Universal Monsters movies.
Yeah.
One of the only 2 fights that he's ever won in like the history of his career is against the left-handed monk.
Padre. Yeah.
That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah, Eugene Pellet
Yeah.
was Padre.
Yeah.
That voice.
I know.
One of those voices. Yeah.
Like it's funny that we've had like 3 movies in
exactly.
a row
Yeah.
where there's a character like that.
But that was the thing. That's what made you stand out, I suppose. You know?
Yeah. Also, weird kind of little parallel between Brandon Lee and Tyrone Power. Tyrone Power had a heart attack on the set at 44 on one of his movies and passed away.
Yeah.
I mean, I was even researching, what's her name, Linda Darnell. Tragic. She died in her secretary's home at age 41, burning alive.
Oh, my
Jesus.
God. Oh,
Yeah.
Died in a fire.
God bless.
Yeah. It was insane, horrific.
Yeah, we're just on like a streak of tragic actors.
Yeah. And I was researching most of them. Most of the cast had a heart attacks at 40 in their 40s, which was insane.
You know, their diet was probably fucking whiskey, steak, and cigarettes.
Yeah, exactly. In
I
old
mean,
Hollywood.
J. Edward Bromberg, that's the guy that played the villain.
Yeah, it was Don
He
Luis.
got red banned in 1950s, the
because-
communist thing.
Yeah. Wow.
And the court, like the U.S. government asked him to come to the Supreme Court to testify and like make sure he's an American, and he said he refused. And they were
And
like,
that was it.
Hollywood said not go for
The end of his career.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, it happened
and then
to a lot of them
he
back
tried looking for jobs and then had a heart attack.
then. Oh,
He was like, what
Heart
the-
attacks.
at 46. I was like, Jesus.
Wow.
Not to mention, they all looked a lot older than the 40s when
Yeah.
they did this movie.
Yeah, crazy.
All right. So what did you guys think?
I enjoyed the movie.
I thought it was good.
There was like this whole effeminate thing to this entire movie. That all the men are very effeminate.
Well,
And then, of course,
Kinda.
Tyrone Power sort of played that part when he wasn't Zorro, trying to throw people off the trail. That he was Zorro.
so
but,
he's just like
you know,
pretending
but-
to be a gay man, so that
I
people
guess,
don't
with
think
the
he's
snuff
Zorro.
and the sniffing the
Charmed.
charmed. Yes, I was just like, wow, this is like
He had
a
the
thing of
cutest
first.
outfits.
He-
though.
they all did.
He did.
They all
The
did.
feel of silk. Yeah.
But other than that, it flowed well. Great story, I thought. And it's hard from our modern eyes, if you will, to realize that this was probably groundbreaking back then in a lot of ways, in just the way the story was told, maybe the way it was shot. But I thought it was done really well.
I mean, even like the opening shot, the cinematography of just like them on the horses and just like even training at the beginning, I thought was really, really nice.
Yeah.
You don't get like a ton of that because majority of the movies kind of just shot in that like almost like play style that a lot of older movies are shot in.
Exactly. And if they had those horse riding scenes, it was like somebody was just riding in, somebody was riding out. It was like a long shot. With
The camera very rarely moved.
Yeah.
The camera was there, and you either came into the.
But even when he was riding out on the horse, when he was being chased, it was actually done pretty well.
Yeah.
Even though you could tell a lot of it was on a set, it was done pretty well.
Also, not to like skip to the ending, but I will. But like to just have it where he puts the sword into the ceiling and then it just like ends.
Yeah.
Like there's no credits. It's just like
Yep.
I feel like movies nowadays just like completely structure themselves around having like 10 minutes of credits.
Yes.
Right.
And it just completely changes like how the ending flows.
Right.
But it's just it works so much better.
Yeah.
Just have like it end.
Yeah.
You know.
Not even like post credits or anything, but like
still so many questions I have about him just kind of showing up as Zorro.
Yeah.
It's like he just came to see his father, and boom, 2 minutes later, he's got the mask, he's got the horse, he's
exactly, and he's undermining the entire government.
No, hero finding their powers sequence in this
Not
one.
even how he came up with Zorro.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't on that boat for like 3 weeks.
I guess, but
he didn't know what was going on.
He was walking into.
You know, he just found out, like, what do you mean
he
my
didn't know it
father
was a power grab against his father, and his father was basically locked in his home to do nothing.
It kind of felt like the whole movie was just in one day. It like felt like he never took off the costume, really. Like every scene was shot. Boom,
what do you think
boom.
that time frame was?
Yeah. I mean, it was like like you say, he just saw his father. Then he
became Zorro.
Yeah.
Fell in love with a 17-year-old.
I think she was like
16
or 17.
Yeah.
Like, actually, the actor, though.
Wow.
Oh, really?
During the filming, yeah.
Jeez.
I didn't know that. She played the 17-year-old in the movie.
And then he just robs the guy already. I was like, wow, this is in one day he's doing this, huh?
Yeah, I think it's meant to be like the span of like a month or so, but like it's definitely
Really?
I thought like a week.
Yeah, they didn't waste any time.
a couple weeks is what I was thinking. Yeah.
They did not waste any time.
But where did the name Zorro come from?
Does it translate to anything directly?
That I don't know. Hey Siri, what does Zorro mean?
I always thought it meant fox.
Zorro is Spanish.
There you go. Well, you were right about that. Zorro
I always
does
thought
mean fox.
Sly like a fox.
Yeah.
Zorro for me was before my generation.
Yeah.
The popularity of it had already like kind of disappeared. But when I researched it, it's like Zorro had 40 movies, 10 TV series. When the most popular one was, like I said, was Guy Williams played him in the late 50s.
Yeah.
So Zorro was a big deal.
Yeah.
Zorro was as big a deal, I guess, as Batman was. You know?
Yeah, and even speaking of Batman, I definitely see like the influence
Oh, sure.
towards like a Batman.
Definitely.
Even like something like V for Vendetta. It's very a lot of influence from this. For
I mean,
sure.
the like scene where he cuts the thing.
Oh, yeah.
The poster is like straight out of this. So
I love that candle scene. You would ask me if I'd seen it, and then
where he puts out the candle, or where they both slash at the candle.
where they slash at
both
the candle.
slash at it.
Yeah.
And one's better than the other, and we know Zorro's going to win.
There's one weird thing with that though, where like I guess when they were editing it, they like added a little thing to make sure that you could see that it went through the candle. But
Right.
it just like it's so obvious, and I don't know, it just looks like shit in my opinion.
It was 1940.
Got to give props for people that can swing a sword without taking anybody's eye out.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are clearly masters of the sword.
Yeah.
It was incredible to watch because we don't never really see this anymore. Everything is like kind of CGI'd, but this was all choreographed, and just seeing it all happen in one scene.
Yeah,
That's right.
There's one
crazy
moment where it's like 17 moves in like 15 seconds or like 12 seconds, something like that, and it's just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, the choreography, I can understand, has to be. As much as they're props, they could still accidentally take your eye out or whatever.
I mean, there were a few times where I would notice where their swords would be like this close to each other's heads. It was like, how did they not poke each other's eyes out?
I mean, is there a way that they're doing this in slow motion and then speeding the film up?
It wasn't slow motion.
Yeah.
It was like just sped up afterwards though. So I mean, like still in real time, it was fast.
It was still fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'd say they're both clearly great with the swords.
Yeah, they're probably good at fencing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like like James said, you don't get this practicality.
No,
like
exactly.
to that
And
extent.
exactly.
anymore.
Personally, felt refreshing to watch it.
Basil Rathbone was Robin Hood. He was in all these types of movies where it's like he brought that type of.
Sure.
That was part of the appeal of him as an actor was that
Mm-hmm.
he had these technical abilities. Like that. It was beyond like theater even.
Very, very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It actually surprised me.
Yep.
It never felt like a 1940 movie. Like
No,
I
it
was
actually
watching
did,
like
yeah.
an old drawn out.
But even like the stab through the captain's heart was so real looking.
Yeah, it was just like spot on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, he's not above killing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like how Zorro's flaw is that like, so he's a very confident guy like on both ends,
Right.
but his flaw is that like he's a little bit overconfident and like it emerges through. So like when he was pretending to be the brother in the church thing, like it came out like half every other sentence.
Exactly.
And then the whole fight, the ending, he got revealed as Zorro pretty much.
Yeah. Well, that because he was cocky enough to think that he could just go through and come up with them figuring out his footprints that ended a wall.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, which was actually pretty cool. I thought that was a
Now
good
let's
little
get
scene.
to the elephant in the room, though. 1940s Hollywood.
Yes.
You cast the peons with actual Mexicans.
Yes.
Or Spanish,
Yeah, but
right?
they
Whatever.
did, yeah.
And all the prime.
Some of it, I'm looking at it. I'm saying they probably filmed real workers on some type of ranch or something.
You know,
in the
all
day.
the prime actors
Yeah.
are all American.
Yeah, they were all
Yeah.
American to play.
Not
yeah,
not
that's right.
even an attempt
No.
to have a Spanish accent. They weren't Americans pretending to.
No.
They were just like, this is the way I speak, and this is what you're going to accept as part of the movie.
No, that's definitely changed over the years. And
It has and it hasn't, considering. I was thinking the same thing. Wow, we came a long way, but then I you look at a movie like West Side Story.
well, 100%, that's true.
Right?
But 100%, even still today, you still have people pushing back that you have a straight person playing a gay person.
Right.
And they don't think that is correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's,
Yeah.
it's still a lot of road
Well, I mean,
to be covered.
even with Zorro, though, as far as I know, the most recent is Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
So
Which was cool.
Well, I think there was like
Yeah.
a
That was
show or
very
some
cool
shit
from- yeah.
recently.
And somewhere in between there was Zorro the Gay Blade. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Linda Darnell, I think
Yeah.
her name is,
Yeah.
was Catherine Zeta-Jones quality. I
yeah,
think she was just
almost certainly.
Beautiful.
just a beautiful actress.
Yes.
The theme was pretty on the nose, but it worked, and the contrast between the suffering townspeople was just it was almost like elevated in a way by Zorro.
Right.
very much like parallels Robin Hood. I don't know if what came first, but it's pretty similar, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
there's
this
no doubt.
vigilante that pops up in a
In an oppressed area,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know,
and
takes
returns the gold to the
Returns
people.
the gold to the people. Yeah, sure.
And I guess maybe just being like, oh, it's Robin Hood is kind of like a silly thing to say, because especially back then, like that is such a prominently used like concept for a story, because that happened significantly back then. So
still does today.
I thought the romance was charming in its simplicity. It added some stakes for Diego, and it helped that it was like actually a vital part for the story, because it like the whole marrying the families together.
Yeah.
And I just thought like it really helped Zorro's character too, because it like also it helped like his side of the I can be this aloof guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the dialogue between the characters, some of it lighthearted, some of it meant to be a joke, but I thought it worked. I never had a feeling this was people from 1940 talking to each other.
Yeah.
It could have been last week they were saying this stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes was just the dialogue when he was pretending to be the monk. Or
Oh, yeah, that was great.
You know, I just thought that was a great little moment. You know,
Yeah.
she was just so open and vulnerable, thinking she's talking to a real priest or whatever. You know,
a friar.
A friar.
A friar.
Yeah. And then later on finds out that's not true, but still.
But she didn't give him up either.
No, she did
She
not.
had a chance to say, he's got a sword.
Yeah.
And she was definitely on the side of the people who were in the power.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I also liked where he was dancing with her, and he was actually having a good time, and then he turned back to being a kind of a prick.
Yeah, yeah.
because he's playing like the
I feel fatigued.
yeah.
Also just like pretending to be like sick after when
Yeah.
talking to the guys.
Oh, yeah.
Why exactly did he do that though? Like,
Well, that's an advantage for him. I guess he knew at some point he was going to have to face off against the captain, the Capitan. So if he had the Capitan believing he was just this little weak,
Right, he was
spoiled
there, yeah.
guy.
I mean, even his father thought he was that and had no idea
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
he'd become. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he was the head of his class and everything else.
That's cool. Secret identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, that parts like that, and even just like the using like cunning and charm to kind of like
Right.
aloof people to real situation, like very Batman, like Bruce Wayne type of thing to me.
Yeah.
I feel like it's so weird. Like these past 3 movies have been like so similar in like structure, where it's just like kind of like shortish movies too, and it's like by the end of the movie, it's like they don't even really care about their secret identity, but like it'll get figured out in like similar ways, where it's just like slowly over the course of the movie. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like similarities between
Yeah.
this, The Crow, and Rocketeer. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, excellent.
I thought all the humor landed well. His over-the-top persona was just hilarious as Don
was
Diego.
hilarious.
Yeah.
It also just wasn't too ridiculous.
No, he
There was
kept
a
it
good
at the same
balance.
level throughout.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of the way he presented himself in the beginning, and that's the way he kept it.
Yeah.
You know.
I fucking my favorite thing though is when he has the thing like I don't even know.
What
It's
was
just,
that?
Snuff.
no, the eyeglass.
Oh, the eyeglass thing.
Oh,
That was just
that little
bizarre. That
monocle.
when he pulled that out, that was hilarious.
And he was just like
The
putting it up at
monocle.
like random
Yeah.
moments.
Oh my god.
I
I mean, what did you think of Don Luis?
He was pretty good. Yeah.
Quintero. Or
Yeah,
whatever?
it's not
Yeah.
too.
I just thought he was
unique,
hilarious.
I'd say.
No, it's not unique, but I
Is
just
Don
thought he
Luis
was.
the one that's currently in power?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought he was hilarious.
He reminded me of.
But he's almost like a puppet.
reminded me of fucking Grandpa.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I just thought he was like a kind of like funny character.
Yeah.
Like
I thought
Jack
that's what I
said,
said. He was
it's,
funny.
Like I've seen this character in movies before, especially like this type of movie
Yeah.
and of this era.
Can't even like think though. Like what?
I think it's just kind of like a dime a dozen type of character.
Yeah.
But
But even the relationship with him
dislike
and
it.
his wife as well, I just thought that was funny, you
Yeah.
know? Because it's almost like she really wore the pants in the family, too.
yeah,
He was obviously a puppet in the role that he had.
So why was his niece?
That's
Right.
correct. And I don't know why she was there,
Yeah.
but she was. Something happened with her family, and she was living there. So
I'm thinking of the moment from the last episode where AJ asked about Peabody and the kid.
Yeah.
So why do you think they lived together? And you were like, yes, I do think they did.
I thought you.
Frank.
Oh god.
All the classic hits on Cape Critiques.
Why do you think they lived together? Yeah, they did.
I really like the whole setting of this movie. Just like a single like Spanish colonial town.
Yeah.
in California.
California still owned by Spain
It's-
at that time.
L.A. though, right?
It's Los Angeles.
Well,
yeah.
it's Los Angeles.
It's definitely Los, because they even popped that up.
And it's gonna burn down now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because probably a lot of those old sets and those old settings have burned.
Was it actually shot in California? It could
Yes.
have been shot anywhere.
No, I'm pretty certain it probably was.
Yeah.
And some of it looked like it was probably on a real working ranch
Yeah.
in California. So, I mean, that was pretty amazing.
I mean, don't forget
And-
we had spaghetti westerns.
I mean,
Yeah.
that whole
Shot
that
in
whole
Italy.
scene where he's coming into the town,
Right.
and you see the little boy running by the fountain there, and there's people washing stuff there. That to me just seems like that was not a setup. That was like looks like it was real shot stuff.
Yeah, even
You
when
know?
he got off the boat, the coastline kind of
Yeah.
like looked like California
Yeah,
coastline.
yeah, but it looked like it was just they shot real people really working on whatever ranch this was.
How about the green screen for the boat? How does green screen from the 40s look better than fucking half the movies today?
Even the quality that we watched seemed very,
Very good.
sharp and
Yeah.
and
Because I mean, you could even tell the details with their hair, how sleek back. With
yeah. I remember you saying that.
I really like
You
their
dug the
hairstyles.
hairstyles.
Just very classy, clean look.
I tried to see like if this movie was well received because like you've said like the copies of the film prints or whatever are very good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the movies,
like
what?
85 years.
Yeah.
So.
Jeez. That's what got me too was the dialogue itself. This is people talking 85 years ago.
Yeah.
But the dialogue felt
There
very
was
modern.
definitely infidelity was definitely brought into some of the dialogue.
Yeah, having an affair with the wife,
and then talking about running away with and everything else. Oh yeah, send him away and I'll go with you. And
I really liked all the supporting cast. Even the like family was just great. The family that's currently in power.
yeah. Come on, when you first heard the Padre talk, did you laugh? I was like,
Oh yeah,
wow,
yeah,
that voice, whoa.
but instantly a lovable character.
Oh
he
yeah.
had the most like Vigiano.
It was a Vigiano. He reminded me of my grandfather.
I just liked that he's supposed to be a father, and the first scene I think we see him, and he's just like, "Oh, like, are you puppy?"
Yeah. Also, just
I was like, "Wow."
being able to like fight, but I guess it's kind of
Yeah.
implied that the only reason he wasn't a soldier is because he's left-handed.
That was a funny scene. He was just clubbing people. God forget me. God forget me.
yeah, I like that scene a lot. That was
hilarious.
great. That was probably like the comedy highlight for me.
There was one moment where I could tell that like I guess he only recorded it once,
Yeah.
and then they looped it,
Yeah.
but I feel like they edited it well enough where you
Okay.
can kind of forget.
And that was probably a big thing back then.
I also, I don't know if you guys might have noticed it, but when the soldiers and the civilians, when the gate gets opened
Yeah.
and they're rushing it, one of the civilians, when they're run by like a torch, literally catches fire. I was like, oh, it was like a quick, quick.
Yeah,
flip.
oops. Keep rolling, keep rolling.
Film's expensive.
And then, like, there was a lot of, like the scene where everyone's sleeping in the middle of the street. because it's siesta
Yeah.
time. And I'm like, oh, do you really think people like it's like 12 o'clock and we just lay down right
Yeah.
here? I mean, everyone's just all over the place.
Yeah.
Have you been to Mexico?
Have you? I mean, no, but I'm saying can you imagine them actually just like laying in the middle of the street? I could understand siesta time, but you go someplace.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh, time.
Yeah, all the women were just asleep there by a fountain.
Also, speaking of fire, there was the part when Zorro first attacks Luis, and they go searching around the premises, and they just have that scene of these guys with these fucking blazing torches going around like foliage.
All
I was
these
like,
bushes,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, this is not going to end well.
That's not working in L.A. today.
I was like, holy shit, you guys are going to fucking burn this place.
The
down.
whole fucking set, I just noticed the torches were like flaming.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap.
Even in the scene where he threw the guy's body over the wall, and the guy that's in charge is going, "What is that? What is that?"
He's dead. He's not dead.
Yeah.
He's not dead.
I think he's dead. Even towards the end, Zorro's like double handing one sword, one torch. Just, I'm like, how did no one catch fire?
Yeah, it's just crazy. Oh, God.
I thought this movie had better action and stronger character work than most swashbuckling movies of the time.
Yeah.
Felt like it also just had something more to say.
Mm-hmm.
And swashbuckling movies, I mean, they were a big part of Hollywood for a long time. Back with Douglas Fairbanks even going forward. I mean,
that
for a
was
good
big,
20-year
the
run.
Pirates
probably,
and
yeah, this was probably towards the end of the swashbuckling.
Yeah.
and it's still pre-war,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
This was
Still
2 years
pre-war.
before we got involved. And I do want to say our version, Antonio Banderas, did the character justice.
See, and I've never seen the film. Or if I did,
This
it was
is
a
the
real
only
long time
version
ago.
I've
I
ever
don't remember.
seen.
This is the only version you've ever seen?
Really?
I remember.
Yeah. I remember when it was in the
Seeing
theaters, it got
trailers.
good reviews.
Yeah, I mean,
You know.
to me, he was the character. I enjoyed the storyline, and
I'll have to check it.
yeah, it's worth it. And he plays him not as fancy schmancy, but he plays him the same way. When he's not Zorro,
Yeah.
you want to take him seriously, but you don't expect him to have the skills that he has.
Yeah.
Did you mention that this was the version that Batman saw?
I don't know if it was.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it was.
Oh, it was?
I figured it was.
really?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
wow.
they said. The Mark of Zorro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense for the comics continuity. I guess.
Zorro in this movie is doing detective work and
Yeah.
vigilantism. And,
Just want to go through the sword fight.
yeah.
So we have like an opening preparation for 15 seconds where he gives them the sword and then they like do like a bunch of moves in like 15 seconds.
And that's when you find out I've just been screwed.
Yeah.
This guy knows how to use a sword.
I really like how Esteban uses like the large circles to like, it's meant to like distract you, but I guess Zorro's
Confuse,
too
yeah.
good of a fighter.
Yeah.
I just like how they fucking break furniture going across the room back and forth.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
and there's parts where you're like just like falling over like pillows and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Are you getting tired?
yeah, the glass on the break front. And
He's like,
such
no,
like
I'll be
that.
fighting
Yeah.
you next or some
Yeah.
shit like that.
But then when they dropped and such, I mean, there was a lot of reality and it looked real.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah.
We say sword fight, but it's how fencing, there's no blade on the sword.
No,
You know,
that's
it's just
right, yeah.
you have to stab somebody.
Yeah.
But these guys were using, I guess, cutlasses. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they could definitely slice.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a saber thing.
It's just
Well,
a cavalry saber or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, well, Rathbone
Yeah.
Yeah.
he served in World War One for the British Army, which most of them used cutlasses at that time.
probably
So I'm
should
sure
have
he
did,
was
yeah.
very well
Yeah.
versed on how to
He
use
had
the sword.
training, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Diego gets pushed into the corner and he gets a cut.
Yes.
I need that to wake me up.
I needed that to wake me up.
Was it to wake me up or was it like to awaken me?
Not to
Yeah,
I thought it
he
to
was like,
wake
I
me
needed
up."
that to awaken me.
Yeah.
And
That's
but
correct.
you've seen that trope in other movies going forward as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what I like about Zorro is he's dominant.
Oh yeah.
I like when heroes use their skills or their powers and they're dominant in a fight.
Yeah.
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 So like whatever, he
Yeah.
needed to get
yeah,
cut.
I figured that was going to happen. That's
Like-
what I do.
Right, I was kind of playing with you up till now. Oh, all
Yep.
right, I see you're a little more
Yeah.
serious.
Now
Now
you're
you go
gonna
down.
die.
Yeah, now
Yeah.
you go down.
It
Now you're
slightly
gonna
kind
die.
of gave me I don't know how, but then connected me to the Bruce Lee scene where he gets cut on his arm and he goes,
Yeah,
and
he
then
tastes
just
his own blood, and now he's like,
he like sniffs his finger.
now
and
we're
goes,
at a different
"Oh."
level.
Yeah.
It was definitely a trope we see a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of felt like he was almost like playing with his food for majority of it, though.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You could tell he was enjoying just
Yeah.
Mhm.
having fun with it.
So then Diego ultimately gets defeated. It's the sword right through the chest.
Esteban.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now you got to
Capitan.
restart it.
Which I thought was done well too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of surprised me that he actually wasn't like done from the side. It was done like straight up, boom, and then
Yeah.
you got the blood and everything. So
Yeah, and that
The
was
thing
the thing,
falls.
though. You know, they both went in knowing this could happen, and you just take that. That's going to be fate. I win, I lose. But that's what's going to decide what happens from here on in.
Yeah.
If I win, we stay in power. If I lose,
Yeah.
you take power.
you do what you
Yeah,
got.
there's just like a lot of great like visual storytelling in this movie too. Like you just said, like the thing falls to reveal the Z
Yeah.
after he kills
Right.
Esteban. It's like
Right.
you know that's right when everyone figures out that he's Zorro. There's a scene between Esteban and Luis where they're trying to come up with a plan of like what they're gonna do, and they keep twisting that like weird art sculpture thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Luis keeps stopping it, and then it's like finally when like they're on the same page,
And
then
then
he
he
starts
spins it,
spinning
yeah.
it and stuff too.
Yeah. It's just little things just like that make a scene just more interesting, just like visually instead of just two people talking.
It's like the same thing as like The Godfather 2 when they keep fucking moving the cannon back and
Yeah.
forth. It's like
Yeah.
that type of storytelling on the screen.
fucking like even just Woody Allen movies where they look for something in a scene and then never find it type
Yeah.
shit.
That's from the opening scene, like you said, with the horses and everything. When they first started to speak, I was like, but aren't they supposed to be like in Spain or
Yeah.
something? Oh, I mean, what are these American guys doing?
Yeah.
And yet, as much as that would have normally bummed me out, like I gave you an example, Kevin Costner with the Robin Hood. Everyone else is speaking that
And yeah.
British.
yeah.
And
And
here
he's
you go,
Western.
Kevin Costner. Not a single. He's talking like he's from New Jersey, you know. And that annoyed me for the whole movie
Yeah.
because I'm like, what the fuck? You can't. Everybody else is
Yeah.
doing it the right way. For some reason, once I got past that first 30 seconds of the
Yeah.
movie where it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, Mom
Yeah.
loves
And
that.
it
Mom
just
loves
rolled
that
with it.
movie, and I'm like, but he doesn't speak like everybody else.
It's just annoying because everyone else is trying at least.
It's kind of just like a case by case thing. Like some movies it works, some it doesn't. Like I didn't see the new Gladiator movie, but I've heard Denzel Washington.
It's just
It's
Denzel
just
Washington.
Denzel Washington.
Right,
And
okay.
and it's like not even an attempt to have like an accent.
Okay.
I mean, there's also like the Thor movies where like
Yeah.
it's just all different accents. One's fucking Australian, and one's classical
True.
English.
Yeah.
My favorite scene was definitely with the friar and,
The church
and the church and the girl.
when he was
Yeah.
hiding.
Definitely became interested in her at that moment and almost flubbed and the
Well,
whole way through.
He first saw her when he went to the house.
Right. Through the window.
And was
Yeah.
starstruck then. And boy, they fell in love fast, those two.
I'll go back to the 3 movies in a row thing, but there's another movie where like I feel like there's not a least favorite scene for me.
Yeah.
I can't think of a least.
I can't
favorite
even
scene.
think of like a least favorite like thread of the movie.
I feel like it's just another movie too, where like the love interest falls in love with the hero, only to find out that the hero is this person. You know, like I feel like that happened a few times recently too.
I don't think that happened with the Crow, but
Yeah, no, not the crow. Maybe it's just like a trope that I picked up on, but I
Yeah.
feel like we've seen it.
I mean,
first.
yeah,
Mm.
I'm not too uncommon.
Oh, the Rocketeer had it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what it
And I'm
was.
certain we'll see it in Superman coming up.
Yeah, favorite scene for me is the sword fight for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
It was done well.
I'm gonna kind of split it. I think
Mhm.
my favorite dialogue in the movie was when they were in the church, how they would
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the back and forth, and my favorite action sequence was the fight scene.
agreed. I, would
I
go
think
along
it's
with
just
that.
so great because it's not trying to like make it seem like flashy or anything, or like
Right.
these are incredibly hard to pull off because
Right.
like they're doing stuff that's harder to pull off, but it looks like easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favorite part of that scene was Don Luis on the side with the comments.
Yes.
As they're having this fight, and he's on the side, sort of
Yeah.
like cheerleading.
Are
It
you
was- it was-
fatigued?
Yeah.
It's met his match.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I really like a couple of the scenes when they're both in the jail cell, the friar and Diego, and he's talking about all these magic tricks and whatever, and
Yeah.
he's like, I can turn the copper into gold.
Yeah.
First, you got to put your hand through the bar,
Hmm.
and then when it's later on, he's like, my son of men of tricks or something like that. He's like, "Oh, Father, have you seen this one? And just busts out and starts beating the crap out of everybody.
I wish there was a scene where you gave that guy gold or some shit.
Mhm.
Not even like a scene, but just he like flicks it to him or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought like little things like that kind of culminate these ideas at the end, where
Yeah.
it's just great.
Yeah. People, are you with me?
He didn't get anything out of it. He already had
Mm-hmm.
money and
Mhm.
everything, so everything was just for the good of the people,
Yeah.
which kind of helps make him a hero, make
So,
it easier.
yeah.
For
His father was in charge. Like, was it a company that his father owned, a ranch or whatever? Then they came in and took it over?
I thought that his father was kind of just like the mayor.
Or is he a mayor of this town?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just mayor.
I
Mayor.
think
Yeah.
he was just mayor.
Because
and
they
then,
were in charge of paying people and everything else.
And I don't know what caballeros mean. Maybe it sounds like cowboys or something.
Yeah.
But they always separated him from the people that were in charge. Like they were saying, you're in charge of the caballeros or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe they were just big landowners.
That's what I thought.
They were well dressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caballero is just a Spanish or Mexican gentleman.
So he was in charge of the gentlemen. So I'm assuming, they were the rich people, whereas the people that were running it nasty were the
and
military
serfs.
people. You know.
Yeah, just mayor, alcalde, or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I guess the caballeros were in this movie just meant to be the townsfolk, the Spanish.
Oh, the landowners.
The landowners.
They were the higher
hired-
landowners.
Oh,
that
okay. So
he
the
They
group,
hired
that
the
group of
peons.
people
Right.
that came in, and he's like, "Why did you bring us all here?" Those are all the caballeros.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So they were the landowners that needed the peons to work their land, but they wanted them to be treated
like people.
like people and not pay taxes. They were forcing the workers to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Or be played by Americans in white man movies.
I mean, I actually felt bad for the guy when they were asking him for nine.
Yeah.
Oh,
9
exactly.
pesos.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I gotta feed my family. You know?
Yeah.
But even all of them, the way they were shaking and everything, it was.
You want to know why I don't
well.
think it was a month? Because, like,
Yeah. No, I mean, not a month.
he would have just had that money taken from them for a while then.
Yeah.
I feel like he would have redistributed it earlier. And I'll give this movie an 8.5. Very strong 8.5.
I'm not a half guy or anything, so I'm on a solid 8.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'll do.
Yeah.
I give it an 8. I was very pleased.
Same thing. 8.
I'm around like an 8 and a 9 as well.
Fun
somewhere.
little movie.
Yeah, done well and lasted 80-something years.
Yeah.
Where I can watch it for the first time and not go, oh man, it was a bad time for them to be making movies or whatever.
No, they did well.
I think it probably still is, like, the highest regarded Zorro movie. So,
Yeah, I was looking into some of the other stuff that the director had done. I think his like other most prominent work is
Star Wars.
George Lucas.
his Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah,
Wow.
I like
Wow.
to see
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
actually.
Oh, that's one I got to go back and look
So
at.
yeah, maybe after we get this round of movies off the board, that might be one of my picks.
Okay. We're going to spin again.
We got Darkman from 1990,
Whoa.
directed by Sam Raimi.
I believe that's
That's you?
That's one of mine, yeah.
Darkman. Boy, you got 2.
All right, that was our review of The Mark of Zorro 1940. Next time on the Cape Critiquers, we talk about Sam Raimi's Darkman from 1990. All right, see you next time.
Puppy.
God forgive me. God forgive me.
God forgive.
What about Darkman? No, huh? What about Liam Neeson's in some Darkman? No. What about Darkman? When Liam Neeson's face was changing